Hello, my name is Shopov, but you can call me Cake, and welcome to the next session of me trying to get competent at Dwarf Fortress. And during the stream, I made a pretty stupid mistake. I have forgotten to close Dwarf Therapist for over an hour, which means that much of the stream is completely unusable for the purpose of this video. So what I have done is salvage as much as I could from the stream, but I have replaced the parts that I deemed unusable with clips that I have recorded after the session, recapping everything that happened at the time. And fortunately, most of that was just me digging the magma stack and explaining how it works and a few more details about it. And basically everything about that I have included in those clips. So while it is not a live take of what was happening at the time, all of my thoughts on it and all of the visuals as they are at the end of the stream are included, so I promise you have not missed a thing. With that, let's get on with the video. At the beginning of this session, I will modify the plan from last time a bit, because what I did was try to dig a tunnel here and like curve it to connect it to where the pump stack will be. But I decided that might not be quite enough space, so I will extend this a bit. But the reason I cancelled it is because I don't know where the caves here extend. They shouldn't extend far past these ones, and that seems to be a safe space. But just to be sure, the first thing I do is going to be put one door here, and put another door here, so that if we do breach the caves and there is a flying forgotten beast in there, so it would have a fairly easy time to get into the fort, I'll be able to quickly put a wall here. So that will negate any danger, because yeah, I don't want to have the whole fort just completely wiped out by a forgotten beast. And as soon as they put in the doors, then I'll redo the mining designation. This can still continue up here, but I'll just put in a bit more space, so that they can start digging here, and then start digging the pump stacks, because it will still be quite a time before they dig that. But also, at the same time, what I'll do, I just realized we only have this one magma glass furnace. We might need more of them, but before we do anything with those, it's worth checking how many dwarves actually have a glassmaker skill. And as we can see, nobody is a glassmaker. So that would kind of have put a dent in our efforts to actually make anything out of glass. So we don't want to occupy the clothes makers, there should be doing that. A metal crafter and a furnace operator. Oh, but they're also the carpenter. But when they start doing metal crafting, that will be useful. Are there any other metal crafters? There's another furnace operator. And that's a very skilled nurse, I would say, because yeah, wound dressing and suturing, that's a nursing job, so this is a nurse. Well, let's just call it a suture, but yeah. Okay, let's see who has literally nothing better to do, so let's go by profession. Well, that's all the bards and dancers. And what are they doing? Watching surgery demonstration. Oh, so they're all attending a demonstration in the hospital. That's pretty cool. Oh, this is just a girl there. Okay, so they can start doing glass making. They'll get better at it. And just that. So yeah, so they'll just be doing the glass, and we'll need a lot of it, so that's one dwarf. Who else literally has nothing better to do? These peasants, probably. Yeah, I had them just hauling, so yeah, I'm going to have two glassmakers workshops, so they'll start doing that. So have another glassmaker, there we go. The other two can still be hauling, because we'll be collecting sand, and collecting sand is, I believe, a hauling job to begin with. It is like a menial job, it's not a skilled job, so there needs to be someone available for that. Oh, and we have two of quite skilled dwarfs here, so that's pretty good. Oh, we got another carpenter then? Oh, they're in excellent armor. So, I believe, let me check quickly, because... Oh yes, of course! I just remembered. Yes, we got more migrants at the very end of the last session. So, is there anything I need to approve of? No, okay, yeah, assign those two glassmakers, that's fine. And I'll check how many dwarfs we had in the latest migrant wave. 100. Yeah, let's start digging out more rooms as well. So yeah, I'll put the magma stuff as priority 1, but there won't be that much of it because it will be like single tile long stuff, so they can just be doing it one by one. Like the super miner can be doing that priority 1. Let's go to the rooms and we need to expand this. Do I want to expand this way? Because then we have limited amount of workshop space, but Can expand workshops here if we want to. And if we need to, we can even put more workshops at the stockpile level. And is any of this dump stone? That's not dump stone here, so I can start expanding the bedroom this way as well. How many? Oh, and we need to populate these rooms with some furniture as well. Are they even assigned? No, they're not even assigned yet. And in a second I'll check if any of the other rooms are still unoccupied. Because if that would be the case, then maybe we don't even need more bedrooms. Yeah, so none of these were made bedrooms yet, I completely forgot about it. Oh, so there are unoccupied rooms still. So a lot of dwarves seem to be pairing up. Yeah, that removes kind of the pressure for more rooms. Okay, so yeah, these are bedrooms now, so I guess they will be enough. But let's actually populate them with furniture. This will have to be a different shape, so I'll wait until we get to the bottom of the magma pump stack, and then I'll dig out here. So we'll still go for here, but it will be somewhere up here. Let's go one level down, dig out another room. Yeah, then we'll dig this one channel here, put the magma smelter in. Oh, I'll put in another glass kiln, but just up here, not a magma one. A single glass kiln creates a single sand collecting job. But I don't want to just keep digging magma kilns, that if it's just to be collecting sand. So I'll just put a normal kiln. Yeah, a kiln. I keep calling it a kiln. It's a glass furnace. So yeah, I'll just put a normal building present. What? What building? Oh, is it this? Let's see again. Oh yeah, okay, so it didn't want to be placed on a stockpile, that's fine. Although, no, you know what? No, now that I think of it. Okay, never mind, cancel this. Because I just realized that if I wanted to have 2 magma furnaces, because I was going to make just an order, like the workshop profile order, where it's just for this workshop. But if I'm going to make more than one, I want them spread out, so I would need to make a general manager's order, and that would then have to be for all furnaces, and that would include a non-magma furnace. So, okay, no, we'll see if the sand collecting order in any way interferes with the glassmaking. So if it does, then I'll add another normal furnace and just figure it out, like just make 2 different orders for these workshops. If it doesn't in any way interfere with anything, yeah, then it's fine. We'll see what happens. Oh, we need more logs. Are we already out of logs? Oh yeah, they absolutely stripped this thing. Oh, there's plenty here. A chop order from here to here. There we go. That's going to be plenty of logs. And the woodcutters will have something to do too. Back to this. Oh, wormstone. Okay, so we need to keep redoing this. I forgot about that problem. Oh, there's petitions. Teal Red Company. A Ranger Guild Hall. Rangers. How many rangers do we have? And so I guess it's all these animal caretakers and hunters and whatnot. Also, what are they up to? See, they don't seem to be doing all that much. They're animal training, but we don't train that many animals. What are we going to... Okay, so since we're going to be getting our magma stuff and whatnot, let's have another furnace operator. Do we have any blacksmiths? No, we don't have any blacksmiths, so... Yeah, High Master Armorer. Yeah, we only have 1 dabbling metal crafter, and they're also a carpenter. So some of these guys, yeah, instead of doing this, so we don't need this many animal trainers, they can start doing all of this. And then I might actually make a guild for them instead. Because then they can learn from each other, and they can learn from the master. I guess we might as well dig out the guild hall, and dig out just 2 of them. 1 for metalsmiths, 1 for rangers. Okay, so that's fine. Let's approve all of the metalsmithing. Okay, so approve the guild hall. Let's now think where it should go. Before we had the whole kerfuffle with the water flooding the fort and I had to punch a drain through right in this area, I have always been planning to use this area for offices and guild halls and other stuff. Like, I did want to make the churches in this area, but I did change my mind since. So in the end, I have designated this to be the Ranger Guild Hall, so it was dug out first, and as you can see, it is being smoothed and it is being engraved. And if we check the value, go to the Bear of Tweeting, which is the name of this guild hall, it has now a value of over 3,000, and it's not even finished being engraved. So we can basically assign it as a guild hall already. If it's, well, yeah, obviously it is already assigned as a guild hall. I'm being silly because we couldn't check its value if it wasn't. But yeah, that means that the Rangers Guild will be happy. Next in line then will be this space, which we will designate as the Metalsmithing Guild. And yeah, they have a door here, but I also then made a door from here, so at least thematically it makes sense that they can go straight from the forges, this whole metal crafting area, straight into their guild. And then if we have any visiting metalsmiths, they can teach our dwarves. All the metalsmiths that I have designated that have no skill or very low skill, they can learn from their the masters, their betters, and as they learn, they can also teach each other. So this will greatly boost our smithing capacity, because we have so much iron and marble, we can just churn out steel. And the better our crafters, obviously, then the faster they work and the more stuff we can make. So we can basically equip all our dwarves in steel armor, because they treat it as clothing, so they will not have unhappy thoughts from clothing, and I mean, that will kind of make our clothes industry obsolete, but yeah, we can still sell clothes, so it's fine, and it's renewable. But yeah, because metal armor doesn't wear out, they won't need to change it, unless it gets too damaged in combat, but I don't think it does. But that's something to be seen. But then they will also be better protected against tantrums, against any invaders, maybe against mishaps with creatures coming out of the caverns or lava or anything like that. So that is my goal once we have our metalsmithing established. The reason I changed my mind about the temples being downstairs, right where the guildhalls are, is because now that we have this little non-denominational... is that the right word? The universal worship temple here, then it made no sense to just split them. So I decided that we have still a lot of space here. The dump stone only reaches to here, so we were fine to build here. We still have plenty of space to make, say, dining halls or anything like that. We can even connect them together so they don't need to walk far between, say, worshipping and eating and sleeping. And yeah, obviously then they go work somewhere else. But that's why I started digging out these rooms. So if we assign this place as a meeting area, so add location, a temple, you can see that there's 50 worshippers of Zuthan, 52 worshippers of Ral, 43 worshippers of Legan, 48 worshippers of Geb. Actually, we'll need more rooms because I only did 4, so that would have been these 4. So we will need another 4 Ryzen, I'm not sure. We'll need another 4 Momus, and the rest are minority religions, so they should be fine with the non-denominational temple, so we don't need to bother with this. But what I will even do now is just designate 2 more rooms of the same size just for the 2 other temples. Okay, so because there is a tiny bit less space here, we're at a crunch because of the cavern. This is more or less the same size tile-wise, because this is 10 by 10 and this is 21 by 5. So this is 105 versus 100, so we can give it to the biggest religion, I suppose. And then we just need to put a door here, and put a door here, expand this, and then we can make another 10 by 10 right here, and put in a door here, and connect them between each other as well, because why not? Give this one a connection here, so they can basically just enter from wherever they want. And yeah, those will be the 6 temples for the 6 biggest religions, as we have seen, each of them having 50 followers. And again, I have mentioned that before in previous sessions, but just because there's 50 worshippers doesn't mean that that's 50 individual dwarves per each, because the dwarves do worship more than one god. Yeah, if you wanted to add up all the worshippers from all the beliefs as separate dwarves, you would have gotten what was like 300 or at least 250. But yeah, so this will be the temple district. Now, the other thing that also is an issue that will need some figuring it out is that there is mud all over this place. And the problem is that this is already smoothed. Yeah, if you look here, there's pile of mud. There's pile of mud, all of it is muddy, smooth gabbro floor. The problem is that, yeah, because it was already smoothed, we cannot re-smooth it. As in, I can even just show quickly, if I try to smooth this stone again, nothing. It just doesn't work. Like, yeah, you can smooth this because this is still a rough floor, so this can be smoothed. But this has already been smoothed. It cannot be smoothed again. I believe this mud cannot be cleaned off with soap or anything like that. We will see. It might be possible, like if the dwarves start doing it, but they haven't so far. And yeah, I'm not holding out any hope for that. Like, this is not an issue here because this hasn't been smoothed before. This was still rough while the water flooded it. So now that they are smoothing it, the mud is getting removed. And the only problem now is that we will need to re-engrave this whole track. So I will need to deconstruct the track stop, carve the track, reconstruct the track stop, and yeah, that's going to be a tiny bit annoying. But when it comes to this being muddy, it is not an issue. Once we do all the magma, once we have our workshops up and running, basically, once we don't have any more pressing projects to do, then what we can try is a trick where you can build a floor over a smoothed floor. So the kind of floor that you build over a gap, you can just designate over a smoothed floor as well. And then when you deconstruct it, it should revert it to its clean state, remove all the mud. I can't remember whether we need to re-engrave it afterwards as well, but that, to be honest, that's not a problem. They can just, yeah, they can just smooth it again. Actually, we have already... Oh, Gabor cavern floor. Yeah, there was a wall here, and this was smoothed before. This is muddy because there's still water seeping here, so this was a wall that we have literally just deconstructed in the previous episode. But this is a smooth Gabor floor, so yeah, if we build a floor over this whole area, this will revert to an unsmoothed floor, and then we can re-smooth it, even engrave it if we want to. Actually, no, you know what? We won't find out now because they're busy with this. I'll just set it to a lower priority. But I will engrave a small bit of floor here. I'll engrave these two bits. So if this gets engraved and it removes the mud, that will let us know that we can literally just engrave this whole area rather than building floors and stuff like that. But like I said, that is something for later. It doesn't matter right now, like, oh yeah, there might be some plants or something, but they can just get removed. It won't be an issue overall. It might just look somewhat unaesthetic. The other nice thing about having this space free is that we can finally start reassigning offices as well. So this office is once again assigned to the manager. They can come and do their work here rather than have to work in their room wherever it was. Somewhere here, I think, yeah. And this we can designate as another office for someone else. I'll probably finally get around to making the bookkeeper as well, but I don't know who to choose yet, so that will be a bit later. I need to install the chair, yeah, let's say here, and install a table here. At some point we'll get around to assigning a bookkeeper. A slight change that I have made was to build a bridge here instead of building a straight up wall. It's just I have since started questioning that logic, because the original idea was that I would link this bridge to the lever that controls the main water inlet. So this lever that controls this bridge, so that when this is closed, this would also be closed and not let any water out. Yeah, and I realized that if I wanted to, say, drain this, well, if the water's flowing here, then obviously it won't drain. But if the water's closed, then this would be closed as well, and it couldn't drain. So I thought, okay, I'll just make another bridge. I'll control it from another lever, so that I can open this whenever I want. And now it hits me. Why would I need to control one bridge from one lever and the other bridge from another lever? Like, if I already have another lever, I can just connect this bridge. So I am going to make a slight change here as well, and delete this bridge, build that wall, and just link this bridge to the other lever, and just close it when I want it closed, and open when I want it open. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with the water inlet. We have also finally put a statue in the office of the mayor, and as we can see, he is now happy with his requirements. It is a decent office. You can see how difficult it is to sometimes put up a value of a small room, because it is only a 3x3, and the value of a room is also proportional to its size. So this was engraved by the same engravers that made this room, and yet this one has a value of 3000, and this one, actually I'm not sure what the actual value of it is, but yeah, it's much less. It's not a grand office or anything like that. It is merely a decent office, despite having an armor stand, a weapon rack, and a statue, and a relatively good table, and a relatively good chair. While these only needed like 2 items, 4 items each as well, to push beyond that value. So yeah, the value of rooms is a funny thing. Okay, now we come to the issue of the magma pump stack. So I have started digging out these stairs, as pointed out in the beginning of the episode. We have dug down, went down through the layers, all happy. Oh, we have so much empty space, we can put the whole stack in it. Boom, caverns. So, yep, this place is completely unusable, and I don't believe the dwarves even started building the floor here. Yeah, because there's still the Forgotten Beast. Although, I believe this might be unconnected, but I don't want to risk it. Like, yeah, all these caverns seem to be connected to each other. So, yeah, what we need to do is quickly just dig out a upstair here, higher priority one, and we want to dig out a downstair here, and then we want to build a floor here, and just 1 tile floor. Placement blocked. Oh, does this mean that we need to dig out this as well? So remove stairs, and then build a floor there, because otherwise something bad can come up. Going back to where we then restarted the project, I have managed to check that there is indeed some space in between here. And yeah, started just digging another exploratory stairway. So this stairway goes all the way down. I won't bother scrolling through all of them, just go straight down to the bottom. Yeah, this stairway went all the way here and stops at the very bottom level where the magma is. So this will be where the first pump goes, the very bottom pump. And how the magma stack works is that we dig alternating channels, and this isn't like they don't need to be channels right now, it's just that this what makes digging it easier, because then the dwarves can just go up and down the ramps, rather than having to first dig down the stair, then dig the access tunnel, only then start to dig out a chamber here, then after this is dug, dig the channels. Like, instead of that, this just digs itself immediately. So we have these channels here, like on the upper levels. Like on this one you can see that there's a wall here and there's a wall here. This is because I haven't dug the very bottom level correctly. But if we go up, then we have alternate channels. So this is a granite downward slope. It's going to here. That's why this bit is dug out. This is another downward slope. So the pump above here on this level will draw from this empty space. This will be the magma chamber for where the pump actually pumps into. There will be a channel here, and this will draw... Are you joking? I did not even check that. There's no magma here. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. That is not like a massive issue. We just need to channel sideways as well, because there is magma here. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, we'll just need to channel out this sideways, and then it can draw from here. So, no panic, don't worry, but it just caught me off guard. Yeah, so we will make a channel here, so the actual magma stack can pump from here, and pump into this space. So there's one space here, this will be a 2x3 later, and I just maybe want to explain why a 2x3 and not just leave this one tile empty. And that's because of Dwarf Fortress's temperature mechanics. What that means is that as magma is being pumped into this space, and just this space, it influences all the tiles around it. And that creates a massive lag spike, way exceeding what pumping water does. So there have been several ways developed to combat this, and basically the pump stacks come in 2 different flavors, and the one I'm using digs out this space, those 6 tiles, and when magma is pumped into this space, it is immediately picked up by the pump above it. That means that it doesn't even have time to make it to the surrounding tiles, basically creating an air gap. That means that the temperatures in the surrounding tiles anywhere here don't need to be recalculated, and that goes a long way to combat the lag, because the processing power required just is dramatically lower. And in the end, that magma pump stack only creates about as much lag as a water pump stack. And yeah, then this pump will draw from here, pump into a space here. So like you see, this is an upward slope, and this is an empty space, because this is where the front of the pump will go, and this creates a plug, like as if it was a wall. The magma can't flow backwards, so it will be stuck here, and then get pumped one level above, so through another stack, and just keep going backwards and forwards. And the whole stack isn't dug yet, so like you can see, this here is still a wall, because these two channels haven't been dug out yet. And yeah, the miners just are kind of getting on it. So, as you can see, alternating channels, and yeah, just this keeps digging out one and then the other. And this way we end up with 4 empty spaces and 2 holes for the price of just 2 designations. Rather than, like I said, have to dig out this whole space first. So dig out 4 tiles and then channel 2 tiles as well. We just skip the whole bit where we have to dig out those 4 tiles. But yeah, that goes all the way to the top. And now here, I was worried for a while that, oh, if we let this water flow, then this might start flooding. But then I realized we had this for ages, like this bit here, and it wasn't flooding even before the water stopped. So if this wasn't flooding here when this was full, I don't see a reason why this should start flooding now. Although if it does, then I'll need to just basically remake the magma stack. But yeah, we'll see. I'll dig out this space anyway, and then we'll let the water go once we have finished our hydraulic projects. And if there is any problem, what I can do is just basically, rather than pump all the way to this place, just put a wall there, and instead have a pipe going sideways here to the back, and another one going here to the front to completely avoid this issue, and then have 2 other pumps just connected differently, because right now we will have power delivered to those pumps, and the way this works is that the top pump is powered, then it transmits this power through the hole in the floor from the solid tile that acts as a wall to the one beneath it, to the passable tile, where if the pump was unpowered, a dwarf would come in and start manipulating the pump, start powering it. But you can just power it from a pump above, and that way it just goes down. So there would be the solid plug here, the front of the pump, transmits power to the lower one, to the empty space, and so on and so forth, all the way down. And the way we will deliver power to our magma stack is, I think, my favorite part of Dwarf Fortress, and that you can have so-called dwarven reactors. And what they are basically water wheels, which are arranged in such a way that they generate excess power from essentially nothing. And you have 2 types currently of them. One is where you have 2 water wheels attached to a pump that pumps water that then runs under the water wheels and pumps it back up, because the water wheels generate more power than the pump needs. So it's a perpetuum mobile, self-powering machine with excess power. It's just that creates a lot of lag. I mean, half of the issue was that I wanted to stop the water here because the spray was creating lag for my game, like you can see now. So the game is running now, and it's 125 in-game FPS as opposed to 40 I was getting before when the water was fuming here. So that is a non-optimal way to power the stack, but it is my favorite because it's a reactor. Like, it even looks like a sci-fi reactor, something you would see on like a ship or in some kind of sci-fi base or in the least, if it needs to be semi-realistic, like in a hydro power plant or something like that. And there is a smaller version of a Dwarven reactor that uses minecarts, and I haven't used that one. That was developed after I stopped playing the game, so I'm curious to use that as well. But it also uses a water wheel, just the actual transport of the water works differently. But that will be very interesting to test out, and I imagine that it's very difficult to just picture in your head how it actually works, but once we get to it, you'll see. I'll build both types, they're very fun. The last bit of what we will need to do here, assuming the water doesn't start leaking from the channel here to the stack, is that we need to somehow connect the system that we'll build here for the magma workshops to the pump stack. And what I'm currently planning is that I can make a tunnel going underneath the channel to the other side and create one more pump here. And we can connect this pump to the magma stack via power connections, because you can have power shafts, gears, and just all sorts of connectors to connect two things to power. I mean, that's how we're going to connect the power sources to begin with. So, you know, we can have a magma channel going out, going here, acting as a source for a pump on the upper level, and then this pump can fill up this whole space, and we can even make the sources up, but it doesn't matter quite where we make them, as long as they're on the touching the highest pump. But if we're making other connections from this, then we can connect the power source to one of those. So as long as there is a power shaft going into the magma stack, everything is fine. And then I also want to tap from here into a second magma stack or something like that on the other side, because I did say that I wanted to create a magma trap here. So I do want to somehow deliver the magma up to here, and since this is already basically on the other side of this channel, then we might as well just make a second stack here, go past everything, and just dump a lot of magma here. And that can also lead to then yet another extension of the magma system, one that can just go outside and flood the whole map with magma if we want to. So if we're getting sieges or something like that, we can create the absolute worst apocalypse imaginable to any creature that isn't a absolutely violence-mad dwarf. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll quickly go back to Dwarf Therapist. Because we're not doing a lot of masonry, I'm going to take the other professional miner off masonry and back on digging. Because we need that speed and the skill. None of you are masons. You're all going to be doing digging and digging only. Did we designate these? Okay. I was wondering, like, why they're not removing the bodies, because we did not make more tombs. And let's build some more of them. But that might be all the bodies now. What? Where? Where now? Oh, okay. Oh, fine. Okay. That's an actual cavern. Not one of ours. Yeah, I was afraid for 1 second that I really did mess up something. Yeah, I think that's the Forgotten Beast crashing about. What else is doing then? Are they removing the rocks? Kind of, sort of. They're slowly moving through there. Ash needs logs. Okay, so they chop down all the trees. They just need to transport them inside the fort, and for some reason they're just not very good at hauling at the moment. How many wheelbarrows do I have assigned? Yeah, I think I need to make more wheelbarrows for these stockpiles. So that's what the carpenters will be doing for now. See, the soap maker can't make any more soap because we probably run out of tallow. Actually, let me check if we have any different tallow. Because yeah, I think that kangaroo was the only thing the hunters have hunted recently. Oh, there we go. See, I wanted to check whether there were any eggs, and there are turkey eggs, and they're fertilized. So now we just need to wait for them to hatch, and we can unrestrict this door, they can leave, and then they can keep reproducing. And the Forgotten Beast just keeps collapsing the caverns, but yeah, that's not our problem. Except for the fact that it keeps pausing the game. So yeah, they're finally removing all the rock and whatnot from here. Wait, why is there water coming through here now? This hasn't been a problem before. Why is it suddenly a problem now? Like, we had this opening here since basically the beginning of the fort, since the first siege. And now it's suddenly a problem with water flowing? How? They only dug that one channel and then they're not doing the other ones? Like, what is this miner doing? No job. Yeah, but they can just get out. Like, they can go either way. Like, why do they have no job? What suddenly happened? This is all still priority 1. It's freaking out again. They'll sort themselves out. Yeah, they're doing... This is priority 3 now, and they're still not doing the priority 1 channels. And despite the fact that apparently these were fine, because, like, that's the thing, there's no difference between these two. Like, you can see there's no connection here. They can't come through here or anything like that, so they dug out these two, they did these, so they did these two, then they did these two, and then they did this one, and then they stopped. They can easily get to this. There's no reason why this shouldn't be done. Yeah, the AI in the game is sometimes really weird. Like, okay, considering that they're being weird and not digging the full magma stack, I guess it will have to be a multi-session endeavor. So it is time for me to finish. I will wish you a good day, bid you a farewell, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.